Hello and welcome to Season 4, Episode 70 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers, by scale modelers, all about scale models. And a huge round of applause and thanks to our ongoing Patreon supporters who help us to bring this show to air. If you'd like to be a supporter, you can do so by going to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from $1 upwards. Your support is greatly appreciated, and for those of you who are supporting us at the moment, we look forward to your continued support throughout the rest of 2020. The Scale Modelers Supply lacquer paints are a new and exciting range of paints specifically designed for the scale modeler. SMS paints have been formulated for airbrush use on a variety of scale model mediums, such as plastics, resins, and even metal. Being designed for airbrush use, all the guesswork with thinning ratios has been completely eliminated. All you need to do is give the sturdy glass bottle a good shake and then simply pour and spray. And of course, being an acrylic lacquer, they are tough. Much tougher than water-based paints and are very fast drying, giving you more time at the bench. SMS paints have a massive range of colours to choose from that will suit any scale model, including Gunpla, car, science fiction, aircraft, military, and even trains. And did we mention they also do a variety of weathering products, brushes, tools, and accessories? Go and check out the full range and find your local stockist by typing in scalemodeler.com.au or simply punch in SMS paints to your search engine. And hey, great news if you're in the US and Canada, SMS paints are now available through usagundamstore.com. So give SMS paints a try. I know you'll be happy with the result. And hello and welcome to the show. And with me I have Ian.
G'day Dave, g'day listeners.
And of course the unrepressible Julian.
Unrepressible?
Well, unrepressible.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you spend all morning thinking up that?
No, it just popped in my head just then. So I just thought I'd throw
why
that
not?
in. Well, we actually should be unrepressible, be irrepressible, I think is the correct word. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All cool.
Yes.
So what have you guys been doing over Christmas? So this is actually, let's just rewind. This is the first episode for 2020.
Yep.
So we're in season 4 now, gents. Can you believe that?
Yeah, okay.
4 seasons we've been doing this.
Yep.
Well, technically nearly 4 seasons.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
And then on top of that, we are doing the first episode on the 1st of January, which is appropriate.
Yep.
To kick off the year with a good one.
Yes.
And it's been a really great... I know we covered all this in the last episode, how much of a great time I've been having and everything, but it just goes from strength to strength.
Yeah. Totally agree, Dave.
Having the ball.
Totally agree.
So, Ian, let's start with you. What have you been doing since we last saw you over Christmas and all the rest of it?
Basically, keeping out of the heat.
Yep. Yes.
Today was the first day in a week where I actually could get back into the modelling room and do some work.
Yeah.
So, just as usual, just working on the old Godzilla kit.
Still haven't finished it yet?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm working on the base now. So I cut one of the buildings had all these really weird looking windows, so I cut them out.
But you finished the actual monster itself, Godzilla itself?
Godzilla, there's probably about another half hour worth of touch-ups.
Yep.
And then Godzilla's finished. So I'm just working on the base now. So I've got all the main bits painted today and go from there.
Cool. Julian?
So, last we checked, I was working on the LVTP5.
That's right, yeah. How's that going?
It's okay. It hasn't been moved too far along because I was kind of waiting for a mate of mine because I tracked down some of the resin that I want for it, like sandbags and stuff, which is made by Hobbyfan, which is the manufacturer's resin portion of their company.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. I managed to track down one of these, on some European site, German site. But the problem is, like, it's such poor English that I couldn't actually order it. Fortunately, I had a friend who lives over there, and I got him to buy it for me, and he was going to send it out, and he asked me if I wanted to send it out, if I wanted it sent out straight away or after New Year's, because of the New Year's, rush when it comes to parcels going through this postal system and all that.
Yep.
But then he ended up having to come out here because his parents are sick.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah. So he actually just dropped to buy, and I was like, "That's cool." I cleaned up the resin. I've got it sort of like I've test fitted it on the model, and it fits perfectly.
Made by the company.
Yep, absolutely perfectly.
Lovely.
So it's got like a U-shaped alignment of like sandbags, so it runs down one side, crosses over through the middle, and then up the other side.
Yep.
And that's made in like 3 sections of resin, and all of them fit perfectly.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. And then, so it's got a little tiny machine gun sort of cupola turret up the front. So you don't put on the kit one of that. You just get a whole bunch of sandbags that are molded around a resin turret. And that's one big chunk of resin. It just plops straight on, clicks into place.
I have to say, sandbags, they have to be one of the hardest things that you have to paint.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it, what,
You look at it, because it's got that fine Hessian material sort of thing to it. It's not, it's not calico material. It's a very relatively open weave type Hessian. And then you got to try and sort of paint that. No, with all the mottling in it and everything. I don't know.
Can be done.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it just doesn't appeal to me.
I think you can just sort of base colour it in a sort of appropriate colour, and then I think probably some pigments might do the rest of the work.
With an appropriate tan or something like that. Or even green, because sandbags actually come in a green colour too.
Nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know back then.
Vietnam, I'm not
Possibly.
too sure. Probably
I don't
not.
know. Don't
Actually,
know.
I've got some colour photos, so I'll just have to refer to those.
Yeah, but you got to look at the colour photos before they're actually filled with dirt and sand and stuff to see what colour the actual sandbags are, because then you got to then bring your earth tones through, because they're filled with all different sorts of earth and sand, and
Yeah, it'll be an interesting journey.
it will be an interesting
And
journey.
if you're doing one for Vietnam, you got to make sure you remember most of the soil was that reddy colour.
No, not necessarily. It depends on where they are. Like if you look
Right.
at tanks,
Mm-hmm.
tanks tended to get that way,
Right.
But because it's an amphibious vehicle, sand.
Oh, yeah.
You
beach
look
sand,
at a lot of photos of them because they came up on the beaches. They got sand all up the side of them.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it depends when you're actually modelling it, when it comes
Yeah.
onto shore. But don't forget, because the US Marines operated up around in the red earth areas, like, around Khe Sand and sort of the central parts of Vietnam, with a lot of red earth around there. So,
Yep. I think the red earth look probably fits the artillery version on with the turret, the big turret on top.
Yep.
Because I've seen those photos, colour photos of those inland, around bushes and what have you. But a lot of the photos of the regular ones are sort of on or near beaches.
Yeah. Right, that's interesting.
Also, I bought myself a Christmas present.
you bought yourself a Christmas present.
Yeah, I don't trust anyone to buy a Christmas present for me when it comes to models.
I did the same.
So I bought Trumpeter's M270 multiple launch rocket system.
We were
Nice.
talking about that when it came out.
MLRS, as they call it.
Yeah, we were talking about that when it... Because only this year it was made, or was it late last year?
Yeah, something like that. There used to be an older Dragon kit,
Oh, okay, yeah.
but
yep.
I'd probably I'd take a Trumpeter kit over that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a third of the price.
Yeah, well, still pretty expensive. So this kit retails for $140 Australian.
Wow.
I got it for $80.
You're better than me.
Gee, good price. How did you get so cheap?
I waited till there was a sale on day.
Unlike me, I went to the hobby shop to buy some glue.
Yeah. And what you walk away with?
The 32 scale Tamiya Supermarine Spitfire Mark 8.
And you've brought it in with you.
It's a beautiful... Look, I've read a lot about this kit.
Yep.
And it's impressed me.
Yep.
But to actually open the box and see what's all involved, it is a great kit. It is really, really nice. Like all the cowls are held on with rare earth magnets and...
And that comes with the kit?
Yep.
Wow, sensational.
It's got wires, wire hard wire to put in the middle of your undercarriage legs so
Yeah.
they're nice and stiff. You can swap the undercarriage over once it's built, so you can have it displayed as flying.
Oh, seriously?
And you can pop everything just pops in, and you just pop it all off and put the undercarriage in.
Wow.
And it's not, and they supply it with enough parts so you can do it.
Wow. Yeah.
It's just, yeah, they're really. The only thing I don't like about the kit,
Rubber tires.
rubber tires.
Rubber tires.
Rubber tires.
They've since sort of gone off that.
Yeah.
At least for the last.
I've
one.
ordered a set of replacement wheels for it.
What else have you ordered for it? Because you're the big one on.
Yeah,
thing.
Barracuda cast. I've ordered the 3 cockpit sets.
3 cockpit sets.
Yep. To enhance the cockpit.
Hang on, what's the 3 sets that come with it?
Well, the first there's a basic set which is just.
Instrument panel or something.
I don't think it's got an instrument panel. I think it's just all sidewall boxes and so forth. You got another set that's more cockpit paraphernalia, and there's another set that's actually one of the sidewalls, which is much better detailed than what Tamiya can offer.
Yeah, it's pretty. I've built like part of their Corsair in this scale, you can get resin that's better than the kit plastic, but the kit plastic, no slouch, you know.
Oh yeah. The other thing I got for it, I've ordered for is quick boost exhaust. The exhausts are nice on that, but the quick boost ones are just a little bit deeper and thinner, and they actually look a lot nicer.
But as Julian was saying, you could just build it out of the box.
You could build this out of the box.
And it could be a beautiful, award-winning model that you could produce.
Yep. It's such a nice kit. Very pricey.
Yeah.
They're roughly around 200 Aussie.
Oh, really? That much?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I paid a bit less.
Yeah. And it comes in 3 different schemes?
You get markings for an American one, a Canadian, and the Australian one that was flown by Bobby Gibbs, which is
the grey nurse.
Grey nurse with the shark's teeth.
Oh, of course.
Which, of course, is the best looking Spitfire ever.
Of course, you have to build that one.
That's the one that's going. Because I was originally going to do that scheme with me Edward Aussie 8 dual combo set I've got, but now I'm not. I can now do a different choice, so I might actually do Clive Caldwell's Spitfire at the 48 scale.
Because the Edward offering that was in 72nd scale, wasn't
48.
it? 48 scale.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
But no, it's a good. I was really happy with that buy.
Be interesting to put them both together and see, how they look.
Being Australian, we see a lot of Bobby Gibbs Spitfires around. The Grey Nurse. It gets done everywhere.
Yep.
But, it's not often you see it in 30-second scale.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
I've seen it a few times at model shows. I think I've seen it twice at Expo now. And they look great. They look really, really good.
Yeah. But, I mean, it is a particularly good scheme.
Yeah.
Like, out of all Spitfire schemes, because, I mean, like, the British ones tend to be, like, you got, like, your sort of cookie-cutter colour sets, and they don't variate too much.
Yes.
You got a few American ones in there and a few other countries, but I think the Grey Nurse has got some. It's like 3 colours, isn't it? On top. There's like a.
I'm pretty sure the tail's different to the.
Yeah, that's right. There's a different. There's an extra colour on the tail or something.
Yeah, I think so.
In the camouflage, and it's quite an appealing sort of set of colours.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just having a look here.
Is it a foliage green? I think it is.
No, it's just two-tone. But then again, the Edward instructions for this aircraft are different, so... I'll just go... I've got a lot of literature on Aussie Spitfire, so I'll just have to go through that and have a look.
Yep.
And find out exactly what the differences are and do it as correctly as I can.
Well, for Christmas, I got the Tamiya Jag Panther late version, which in 1/35th scale, which Ian and I was looking at earlier on to figure out whether there's a late, actually more recently moulded kit than an earlier one.
I think it is
more recent one, which is cool.
Because I'm pretty sure the early ones had the slot at the bottom of the body where you could put a motor in and switch in.
Yeah.
And that definitely does it.
I believe Meng did a kit of one of these recently.
Oh, did they really?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I've got a Dragon one, which is quite nice.
Well, what I like about this one, it's a very low part count, so it's something you can sort of really whack together and bang it out. Yeah. So I'm going to get some aftermarket tracks because it only comes with the rubber tracks, or vinyl, which I detest. Although, as you did say, Ian, if you put the side skirts on, it doesn't really matter.
The Scherzen?
the shirt, but I just hate the vine. I hate painting it. It's just awkward to paint.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of painting those things.
And because the Jag Panther was based on the hull of the Panther tank, I can just get some aftermarket Panther
Panther tracks
and off I go.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Good plan.
So that's pretty much what I got for Christmas. The only other thing I've been on the bench is I'm building a thud at the moment in 1/144 scale.
For F105.
Yeah.
The twin seat, single seat?
Nah, single seat. And so
that'd be a D.
Yeah, I believe it is a D version.
Because I think there's a G was the
G was a two-seater.
That was a wild weasel,
which was a twin seater.
Which is the coolest one because it's got shark's teeth.
Yes, exactly right. So I've been sort of trying to get on that. I've put the Centurion aside for a moment. I'm still having some difficulties with the molds. Just not, or the parts just aren't fitting too well, and it's just driving me up the wall at the moment. So
I think that's happened to a lot of the people who have built that kit.
Yeah, but people keep, I've heard stories. Oh, it's a great kit. Rah, rah, rah. Well, it may well be, but it's not sort of going together like a great kit. So I'll just put it aside for the moment until the creative juices are flowing a bit more freer than what they are at the moment. And I want to get some photos of a real tank because I've got a couple of question marks around some of the running gear. So I found a place.
Caribbean Gardens. They've got at least 2 Centurions.
Well, that's true, yeah. There's one up where
kids will play on them. It's basically playground equipment now.
There's one, it's a couple of RSLs.
And you can go on the pirate ride.
No, thanks.
So the Caribbean Gardens...
and the submarine.
The Caribbean Gardens, for our listeners, is not anywhere remotely related to the Caribbean.
Or Pirates of the Caribbean.
Actually, for our non-Victorian listeners...
It's like a flea market, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a very, very cheap version of Wally World.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whoops.
So, you want to get some more reference photos, which I'll go take myself and then sort of crack back into it. So, but I've been terribly busy with work. We've had some, the fires in Australia have just been horrendous this year. So, New South Wales is still all lit up like a Christmas tree.
The thing that gets me is I've got a lot of European friends and I'm just getting swamped with emails. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Are you all right? It's like, yeah, I'm fine.
Well, Australia's a big place.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't realise, how big the country is. But then again, they don't realise that one of these fire fronts is, a third the size of Great Britain.
Yeah, or something like that. There's a lot of maps sort of floating around you can look at to show how big the fires are. And I think in excess in New South Wales alone, it's touching 3 million hectares now.
Well, that's about the size of France.
Oh, no, it's not that big.
Not that big, but getting close.
Well... Nah, not that big.
It's a lot of fire. It's a big fire, mate. It's the biggest we've ever seen.
Yeah, and unfortunately, just a couple of days ago, as we went before we went to air, there was a tragic loss of yet another firefighter who was killed in the most tragic circumstances, where the 10-ton fire truck that he was in actually got lifted up by a fire wind event and threw it up in the air and landed upside down, and he unfortunately lost his life, and a few other people were injured, which was tragic. And on the news tonight, I think the death toll now stands at 15 civilians have lost their lives in total so far.
There's about 4 or 5 fires, if not more.
I think we're up to about 3 at the moment.
Oh, 3, is it?
And it's just, it's just really, really tragic. And, a lot of those civilian lives, are unnecessary deaths.
Oh, they are, yeah.
If people had listened to the authorities and just leave when they're supposed to leave instead of...
You can always rebuild.
Well, that's right, yeah. And that's the philosophy I have.
I would just imagine us having to leave our properties, leave all your kits and that behind, knowing when you get back you have to start from scratch. It's a big step.
But I think we've touched on this before with the insurance side of it. Yeah, it's making sure you're insured and got the appropriate insurance to cover you. Yep. It's just stuff,
It can be replaced.
Stuff can be replaced. Yeah. You can't replace a life
Correct.
or your health or anything like that.
Yep.
And, of course, on the subject of health, we've just had that really tragic news of...
Mick Jimmy's wife.
Yeah, tragically passed away. She lost her fight with brain cancer, which is,
it's terrible, isn't it? She's a very young girl too. Real tragedy.
Younger than me.
Yeah.
Younger than you.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anyone younger than you.
Wow.
Just let me say... cancer is just shitty. I don't care what anybody says. It's just shitty. Yeah. And, the sooner we get a bloody cure and get rid of it, it's the better.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put my conspiracy hat on and say there's probably already a cure for it, but but Big Pharma makes a lot more money out of bloody chemotherapy than they would, because as you know, once you're cured, you don't go back.
Yeah, but think about it this way: all it'll take is one researcher to be a modeller, because it's in his interest to cure cancer, right? Yeah. Of all the paints and thinners and glues and things that we use.
Oh yeah.
All we need is to get some of those researchers.
Do you reckon all the paints and stuff that we have possible carcinogenics?
Of course.
Yeah.
Dave used to paint with Humbrol paints.
Yeah.
There you go.
Once upon a time.
You ever sprayed Alclad?
Yes.
There you go.
Well, okay.
You ever get any of the Tamiya extra thin on your fingers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it with you two? Seriously?
Yeah, everything we do, plastic dust.
Well,
is
look, if you read, if you read some of the magazine stuff, and hey, we're getting way off topic here, but even if you read some of the articles that come out, you get these reports saying, "Oh, coffee's bad for your health" and all this sort of stuff. I mean, geez.
Yes, I mean,
anything in
perspective. Yes, yeah. I mean, but some things are more dangerous than others, and then how much are you prepared to give up in order to, Well, I enjoy building models, and I'm quite happy to sort of not so much pay the price exactly, but I'm not going to wrap myself in plastic and then hide myself away from the world.
But you're going to have basic precautions like a mask, and you're going to wear disposable gloves.
Yeah, mitigate the risks.
Yeah, exactly right.
Keep on chugging.
Yeah. Let's leave the subject model. Let's go and get back to modelling.
It's only the first day of the year. Come on, it's getting pretty dark, isn't it?
I know. Well. So I'm hoping that 2020 just gives us a lot better year than what we had in regards to all the natural disasters we've had in Australia. The only parting shot I will give is that flood always follows drought, unfortunately. So
yes,
I think Australia's still in for some more hard days ahead. But thanks for all the well wishes of people who've privately sent me messages. That's much appreciated. And we'll keep our chin up and we'll do what we normally do and keep battling on.
Yep.
Can I just say that what you said before about a truck being lifted into the air, that's really crazy to me.
A 10-ton truck, it actually got lifted in the air through a fire hurricane, fire tornado.
Because we deal with this sort of stuff all the time. There are other sort of things that seem really ridiculous when it comes to the fires, like the speed that they travel at, what happens to people when they get caught in the fire, and it's really it's almost like if you saw it in a Hollywood movie, you'd come out and you'd be like, "That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that
exactly
doesn't happen."
Yep.
But it does.
Yeah, I know. I've seen too much of it.
And the worst thing about Australia, eucalyptus trees.
Oh, because they explode.
They explode. Yeah. They literally explode. They're like sticks of dynamite, eucalyptus trees.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, the eucalyptus tree has been one of the most successful exports around the world. And that's why California goes up all the time, because you see how many eucalyptus trees are over in California.
I don't know why they bought all our eucalyptus trees.
Because they look good and they grow quickly and they're hardy in a warm environment.
I thought they grabbed them because they were like, oh, we'll have all this great hardwood in no time.
Yeah, it might have been.
No, there's that, and there's aesthetic stuff. And I was reading somewhere even into Spain and stuff they're growing. I drove through, I kid you not, I was on the big island of Hawaii a couple of years back, and we drove through this section, and I had to stop and pinch myself and not think that I was in Australia for these big, almost like a eucalypt forest we were driving through in Hawaii.
You're just looking up trying to find the koala?
Yeah, almost. It was just amazing. And these trees are just being, exported and reused all around the world, and it's just crazy because they're, as much as it's a beautiful tree and all the rest of it, hardy, it grows.
It's a barrel of fuel.
It's exactly right.
It's a stick of dynamite.
Anyway,
all right, let's get back to modelling.
Back to modelling. How about we have a look at some listener mail, because we've got a few in actually.
Have we? We've been.
The first one is that I will actually get Ian to read because it's close to Ian's heart. So you just grab that first page there and read it up.
All right, where are we? Okay. It's from our listener, Mr. David Lockhart. Hello, David. Okay, love the podcast. Look forward to listening to it every 2 weeks. On episode 69, you guys mentioned modelling the Rocinante from the Expanse series. Yes, there is currently a model available from Fantastic Plastics. As with all Fantastic Plastic model kit, this is an all-resin kit. Great details and decals. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Well, thanks, David. That's excellent. And now you're going to make me spend more money.
I got no idea how much it costs.
I don't. With me, it's like, I don't care.
Yeah, we should Google it, though,
I've got to get it. I've got to get the Rocinante because I'm a huge fan of the Expanse.
It's 144 scale, right?
Yeah, 144. So even that, it'd be a decent size.
Yeah, it'd be a decent size. And like,
I'm trying to think if it comes with a railgun because I've been reading lately that someone's been is busy making an aftermarket railgun to go with it from the latest series.
Oh,
when they uparm the Rocinante.
Oh, there you go. We'll wait and find out.
Thanks very much for that. Oh, really, that's awesome.
Jeff Betcher writes in, "G'day, Dave, Ian, and Julian.
Hey, Jeff.
Just finished listening to your year in review show and thoroughly enjoyed it as usual. The candid banter that meanders through a wide range of topics, modelling and non-modelling, is always entertaining. Dave, as for your suggestion of a TV show where participants are given the task of building a scale model, is a great idea. See, Jeffrey's one of our more intelligent listeners.
You sure you just didn't write to yourself here?
I did. Let me continue on and see what else he has to say. This is bad news. It has already been done in the model railway world very recently with a British show called The Great Model Railway Challenge. It is now in its second season. See, so it is popular. I could do it with
they've
models.
done 2 seasons, yeah.
Teams are given 3 days to build a model railway in any given space based on a particular theme, and then they are judged. As you can imagine, the contestants range from the serious purist who seeks realism to the freelancer who just wants to have fun. Episodes from the first season are on YouTube if you're interested. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and all the best for the new year, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
On next to... see, I'll still keep it alive.
You are keeping it alive.
And I've still got it copyrighted. So, there you go.
You've actually submitted the forms, have you?
What? No, I verbally said it's copyrighted. So,
yes, okay.
Technically, that's a contract, which will stand up in court.
Basically, dibs actually is a thing. calling dibs.
Dibs. As we used to say, shotgun.
Chuck Doherty writes in, "G'day, gents, and greetings from the USA.
G'day, Chuck.
Someone, maybe Julian, mentioned an interest in this kit in the last episode, so I thought I'd send you a photo link of my build. I just got back in the hobby after a few decades, so be kind. I really enjoy listening to you all when I build. So where do I sign up for the Julian fan club?"
Just look at that build, Julian.
Yeah, it's a good-looking plane.
It's
it's actually a what's the name of that aircraft?
Block.
Now,
or Blosh or something like that.
The MB-151, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's also, I think, an MB-152 or something like that.
Now he's saying he hasn't been modelling for, 20 years?
He says he just got back into the hobby after a few decades.
Wow. I'll tell you what, maybe we should all give it a rest for a couple of decades because that's a really nice build.
Yeah,
really nice build.
I've got to say, I was very impressed with the picture.
Very, very nice, yeah.
So he's actually sent us a picture of the model he's built, which is a French MB-151.
Marcel Bloch.
And this is the door and wings model, I believe.
That's the new one, yeah.
Yeah, and it just looks superb.
It does.
Beautiful paint job on it.
Well done.
Yeah.
He's really knocked that out of the park.
Geez, Chuck, if I you'd be thinking about entering that in the next competition down your way.
Definitely.
Why not?
Absolutely.
Why not? Give it a plug.
Yep.
Give it a shot.
Aidan O'Donnell writes in and says, "Hi guys, I would like to ask if you guys have a preferred method of heating photo etch parts for bending. I have a couple of kits that have small mesh grills that need to be bent to nearly a circular shape and would hate to trash the parts for want of a word of good advice. I was also wondering if the same method could be applied to reducing the tension in coil springs. I have a Vulcan Models Vickers light tank that has springs as part of the suspension, and I've heard that those springs are too springy. Any advice thankfully received. Best regards and season's greetings from Aidan O'Donnell. P.S. The series about Bomber Command that Dave mentioned in the latest episode was called The Pathfinders, and yes, it was. I remember watching that.
There you go.
And PPS, another really good series from the 70s was Danger UXB.
Yes. Unexploded bomb.
It tells the story of a fictional bomb disposal team in London during the Blitz and after. Great cast and gripping stories, well worth a watch.
It was, yes. I remember that series.
So photo etching heating your photo etch parts is basically what you're doing is annealing them.
Yep.
And
you can either use a cigarette lighter, but I went and bought one of those. You can pick them up from any hardware store, like a little flamethrower, a little handheld flamethrower.
Yeah, I got one of those.
A little torch and just give it a hit. Basically what I do is I just wait till it just starts to cherry, just starts to go a bit reddish, then stop. Don't go any further.
I don't even necessarily do that. I mean, so I would be careful about using something like that on a grill because there's not much material there, and it will heat up a lot faster than you think it will.
Yes.
Right? But if you're doing like a sheet of photo etch, like a big, flat, wide piece of metal, you need to put a lot more heat into it. So that can be really good for that.
If you're doing photo etch, just use a lighter or a candle or something just so you can basically just get it hot.
Yeah. If you've never tried it before, then maybe just start with the edge of the photo. Correct.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, just practice.
And you can see the disc, the changing color as it moves across.
That's the one thing you can always when you anneal the photo etch. You can always tell the photo etch has been annealed.
Well, I don't even anneal it. I've never had to anneal photo etch.
If you're doing like very compound curves, it's always annealing. Otherwise it tends to want to fold.
Yeah, so if I'm doing curvatures...
often it'll want to spring back, and you won't be able to get it to come around as much as you need it to, especially when things start to get really tight.
Well, those roller sets you can buy for getting, curvatures on photo etch stuff, and I find that if I just go large to go down, step down in each size, and then go one slightly smaller, I can get it to generally marry up pretty well without having to anneal it.
Yeah, but I mean, often, sometimes you'll get to a point where you won't be able to get it that extra curve because of maybe it's got a peculiar shape and you can't get in there, right?
Yeah.
And then, if this is what you're doing and you haven't annealed it yet, if you then anneal it, it'll be really apparent the difference because you'll just see the tension come out of it, and it'll be much more malleable.
Yeah. Which is really handy when you're doing like ship railings around gun emplacements and so forth.
No, I've never done it.
I've always get those nice curves.
Yeah, no, I've always used a tool to that and just slowly run it along so it slowly sort of the curve builds up as if you're bending pipe in a tool
pipe
like
bender.
That. Yeah, pipe bender.
Yep.
And I've never had to anneal. I've always been worried about annealing for two reasons. Number one, especially with the railings you're talking about, because then you got to clean all the bloody carbon and everything off.
That's easily done.
Yeah.
I don't even bother.
Don't you really?
No, just paint
So
it.
you anneal and just paint straight over the top of it with a primer?
Yeah.
And it won't flake off?
No.
Hasn't yet?
Well, I mean, I'm not dealing with things that small and thin.
Mm-hmm.
But, those things sort of require a bit more care,
Oh, of course they do, yeah.
Yeah, again, I would like to stress, if you're putting heat into grills or very thin railings and stuff, that stuff's going to heat up very, very quickly.
Actually,
you might want to use a candle or something.
Yeah.
Very good point, actually. Very good point, yeah.
Because, there have been... I think I remember when I first came across photo etch and I annealed something, and it, basically melted. It just fell apart. It just, 1 minute's there and 1 minute's not.
It went a bit too far. But springs now,
I don't know. I don't know enough about that.
No, spring steel.
Well, I think its inherent shape is part of what gives it its springiness.
Well, plus it's made out of spring steel.
You're probably just better off cutting it down, right?
I think he's talking about the Vickers light tank. And if you think of the running gear on the side, they've got those great big whopping springs on them.
Correct.
And I think the model manufacturer has actually put some real springs in there.
Yep.
To
help give it tension. And realism. You're saying they're too. They're too tight.
There might be put too much stress on it. I think you just
often when models have that sort of an issue because they put springs in it, you'll often find that they've had to reissue the kit with springs that are different.
Right.
So what I would do is I would do some Googling. I would find out some forum posts and chatter about it and see what the deal is.
Yeah.
Because you'll both find out if there is a replacement that you might be able to just email the manufacturer and get, or you'll come across a solution.
You might even find that there isn't a problem.
Yeah, it might just go together.
It might just go together without issue. They might feel hard
to
the touch, but when it all gets put into place. But that's the one thing you don't want to find out at the last moment, that your springs are too harsh and they're popping everything apart at the last minute.
Yeah.
Go to a couple of modelers forums, the specialist ones that deal with armour, and have a look there and see if anybody's done a build on it and just read what they've got to say about it.
Yep, exactly.
That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
But, bear in mind that you may come across a whole bunch of other things like, the turret's wrong in this regard and this and that. And
then it just makes it...
and down the rabbit hole you go.
Yes. Too true.
And last thing I need to mention is that Nigel Chipperfield
yes, thank you, Nigel.
sent us a whole heap of gear.
I did too, though, and great gear too.
Nigel hails from South Australia, I think, Nigel, from memory. And he is a dental surgeon and sent us a whole heap of old tools which are no longer he can use, along with some, what would you call those little thin plastic things with a fur on the end of it?
I think
it's like
a glue applicator.
Glue applicator. Well, we can use them as a glue applicator.
Is it a glue applicator? I think it's more like a little miniature brush or something, isn't it?
Well, they sell them as super glue applicators at B&A, and they're white.
All right.
But these are yellow, and they just got little brush tips at the end. And, geez, there must be close to 100 or something in the bag.
Yeah.
Plus, he's given us these tiny little, I think they're dental toothpicks that they use when they're damming up to do some major filling work, which are going to be really handy. Also, we got 4 of I think they're like the reamers they use when you get the root canals.
Wow.
And
they look like little drills, don't they?
Yeah, and a really nice dental pick. So thank you very much, Nigel. I've been hanging to get some of these dental tools, and now I've got some. You're a legend.
Well, there you go.
Thank you very, very much.
Nigel also writes. He says a PS.
Thank you very much.
Surgical loops / headlights. You can pick them up fairly cheaply new on eBay. The main difference between the expensive professional ones is the colour correction and focus across the whole field of view. They can take a bit of getting used to, as some 3D perception is actually lost, and some people suffer vertigo sensations when first using them. His original surgical loops that he bought originally cost $10,000, but he's tried some very cheap ones for modelling, and he reckons they're just as good.
Yep.
For what we're doing. So.
There you go.
Because I think I was talking a number of episodes ago. I wouldn't mind getting an old second-hand set, because I was watching, what's that show where they redo people's bad plastic surgery stuff?
Don't know, Dave.
I don't watch those kind of shows, Dave.
Well, I don't. Michelle watches them, and I happen to be sitting in the room, and I just admire the tools that they've got. But anyway, so I posted it as a...
I could use that fat scraper for something. Is that what it's like, Dave?
No, well, yeah, kind of close.
Oh, that lap band surgery tool looks interesting.
Anyway, so Nigel, thanks very much.
Yeah, Nigel, you're a champion.
Thank you very much.
It was really great.
Really appreciate it.
Yep, definitely.
Right, that's all I got for our listener mail.
Yep.
Should we have a look at what's new? You know what? I think I might take a quick break first, actually.
Quick break?
Because, geez, we've been yakking away here for a while now. So
only 40 minutes.
Let's have a quick break. We'll hear about Fine Scale Modelling Magazine, and we'll be back shortly. Fine Scale Modeller is proud to support On the Bench. Fine Scale Modeller is the world's most recognised and essential magazine, and is available in all good newsagents and newsstands, or wherever you purchase your magazines. Alternatively, go to their website, www.finescale.com, and subscribe to either the print edition or the digital edition, or why not both? Go now. Go to www.finescale.com. And we're back to have a look at what's new in the modelling world. And first cab off the rank is we have some news from Hobby Boss. And Hobby Boss have announced their January 2020 new releases. The first one being in 1/72nd scale, the German Carl Garrett 040/041 on railway transport carrier, which is basically a big Carl mortar, which is a self-propelled artillery piece. and being transported on 2 flatbeds. And that looks like a great little kit if you enjoy building your rail stuff.
Yeah.
Now, you've got the Dora gun, haven't you, Ian?
No.
What have you got?
I haven't got any. Instead of the Spitfire, I was looking at the Dragon 135th scale Leopold railgun.
Didn't we get...
No.
Didn't you get for your birthday a big gun?
No, I believe that was someone else.
That was someone else.
Oh, sorry, Ian.
That's all right. I wouldn't know where to... I'm stacking kits on the floor now, so I wouldn't know where to put it.
See, I think this sort of stuff, if it's in 35th scale,
Yep.
kind of people don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah, because it's big. In 35th scale, that's a huge kit.
It's huge, and like it kind of sits a bit different to most other kits. So what do you do with it?
True.
But I mean, like the best I've seen was a small. They had a diorama, and it was of they had the railway up an embankment kind of thing, and they had a flatbed with a tank on it.
Yep.
With a cover over, I think, and they had like a small tunnel, like a running through underneath the railway, and it had some guys down there.
Some Russians underneath it. Yes, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
It's a very popular diorama. It gets around, but I mean that was sort of I thought that was really good, and you could probably do that with a lot of this 35th scale sort of railway type stuff, or even this 72nd stuff.
I remember years ago a bloke did a massive diorama with one of those Leopold railguns.
Yeah, I was like, where do you put it?
Oh, no, actually, it wasn't. It was a diorama the guy done with a Dora.
A Dora.
And it was huge. It would have been nearly half size of a pool table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as you said, where would you put it?
And not only that, dust would be your biggest killer, so you'd have to put it into a proper...
you'd have to get a special glass case made for it.
You would, yeah. Oh.
No, it looks like
but
a
this
nice
1/72 scale looks to be a great kit and a great size. I wonder if there's actually some information as to how big the kit is.
Usually you scroll down to the bottom of the page and it'll tell you.
Total of 15 sprues. The length is 590 millimetres with a width of 80 millimetres. So, 590, that's, say, about half the size of a modern 1/350 scale aircraft carrier, to give you a bit of an idea as to how long it is. So it's fit within a bookcase quite comfortably.
Yes.
And being 80 millimetres wide, it would... so total 15 sprues. Kit consists of 430 parts with 4 sectional railway tracks in 500 millimetre lengths.
Length. Total.
Oh, in total, the track, okay. So that's very cool. Next up from Hobby Boss in 1/72 scale. This might interest you, Julian, seeing you're building Skyhawk at the moment. An A4F Skyhawk in 1/72 scale.
So, this is probably... So I've got a few things to say. So first of all, this is probably has the same problem as their 48 scale one, in that the leading edge slats are not separated. So you can't really do it as one that's sitting on the ground.
Well, the slats open when they're sitting on the ground?
Yep.
Okay.
So speaking of which, so over Christmas, it was Christmas Day. We had family over, and my cousin, her son, decided he would get in my room while I was off getting a drink, and he took one of the leading edge slats and he snapped it in half.
Why did he do that?
Oh, because he's
a little
turd
blighter.
Yes. I mean, a lot of words come to mind, and I don't want to, say them here. A lot of very colourful words. I was not pleased because there's no fixing it. Absolutely none. You can't scratch build a replacement. You can't do anything.
A similar thing happened years ago with me. A relative, while I wasn't home, grabbed an old Tamiya 1/12 scale Formula 1 car and smashed it into the wall. Playing cars.
It's mortifying, isn't it?
Yeah. Come home and there's your Formula 1 car you spent, 4 months building in pieces, irreparable. Well, what can you do?
Well, my grandkids know that my build...
And then then you get told it's your fault because they got into your room. So, what, you would put a bloody padlock on it?
well, my grandkids know that my builder room is verboten.
It's verboten?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So I basically had to bin the whole build.
That sucks.
Maybe then you can go and buy this 1/72 scale version.
I'm
You're
done.
done?
Done with Skyhawks.
I'm done. I might revisit the subject in a number of years.
Well, looking at it, it's showing pictures of the sprue here, and
the leading
edges aren't open, so you can't model it properly.
I mean, like, you know, maybe in that scale you might be able to scratch build something, but not in 48th, because like the leading edge slats on A4s, they hang really low, really low.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they hang down, they hang almost below the bottom of the wing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they hang very low, and you can see right up into the underside of them, and there's like, you know, structural work inside there that you can see.
Yeah.
Well, why not do the model in flight?
It's in the bin now, Dave.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you know,
models don't climb out of bins themselves.
No, not that particular. If you go to revisit it, you can do it while in flight.
And put a pilot in there.
Oh yeah, I hate doing pilots. Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
that's all right. I've got plenty of other things to keep me company.
Yes,
there's always another model in the stash, you know.
Mung, which is the correct pronunciation that we've discovered last year, in 1/35th scale, are doing two completely new kits for Sherman lovers. And in 1/35th scale, they're doing the M4A 3E2 Jumbo.
Yep.
No, that's the up armoured one. Armoured.
Up armoured. Yeah. It's got lots of armour on the front.
And on the sides too,
yep.
Actually.
The infamous first in Bastogne.
Yes.
Written down the side of it. It's quite an iconic one of that particular.
Just looking at the size
vehicle.
of that mantlet, the gun mantlet.
I know.
Front, it's just massive, solid block of metal, isn't it?
Yep.
Wow. Amazing.
Highly underrated tanks, I would say, the Shermans.
Yep.
Highly underrated. It's funny because there's almost been this, not a whitewashing, but almost, it is really a German sort of fanboy armour sort of team out there, and not necessarily in the modelling world, but I'm talking more in the historians as well. And, you know, there was, you know, the Tiger's the best tank and all this sort of stuff, but, you know.
Well, the Germans had to go for quality over quantity because they didn't have
to.
Yeah, they did. Because they didn't have the personnel. They couldn't compete with the Allies in any other way.
Yeah, they didn't have the base structure to go as massive as the Americans could.
They didn't have the engineering background to go.
Not just the engine. No, they didn't.
Sorry, not the engineering. The
industrial
base.
Yes. Yeah, the industrial base. Yeah.
They also didn't have the manpower.
Yeah, most of the men were in the front.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Germany in World War I and World War II. It chewed up a lot of the male population.
I don't think it was just the manpower that was a major issue, though, for that.
You're competing against a number of nations, and you're like one nation. You're always going to be outnumbered.
Yeah.
You got the Russians, who by that time had moved all their manufacturing over the Urals.
Yeah.
So that Germany couldn't touch their manufacturing base. You got America. Britain's now back into manufacturing in a major way late in the war.
You can't
it was like the Japanese. They just couldn't compete.
Yeah, so you compete in the one way that you think you can, with quality over quantity.
Yeah.
That's not to say that they didn't have their issues.
Oh, they did, yeah.
I mean, like the Sherman, you know, you don't make 50,000 Shermans because they're a bad design.
Exactly right. Yeah, and that's my argument. The Sherman was a good design.
Also, a good sort of feather in its cap is that it was designed so that it's not like they could take them back to the factory and fix them up or refurbish them or anything like that.
Yeah.
Once you send them across the Atlantic Ocean, it has to be able to work over there and not fail.
Well, look at the road wheels on the Sherman, how quickly you could whip one off and put a replacement on. You compare that to sort of the Panther or the Tiger or just to change a track, for example, all the work that was involved. I mean, you know, that was just over-engineering to the nth degree, which was just crazy.
And the amount of fuel pump and fuel gasket problems the Germans had.
And I think we've discussed this before. I mean, a Tiger cost about $300,000 to produce
back then,
or you know, comparatively, whereas the Sherman was about $56,000. So you could build nearly 6 Shermans for one Tiger.
Correct.
And funnily enough, it only took about 3 Shermans to knock a Tiger out. So numerically, you're ahead. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's a lot of things. Like, if you're the United States and you've got ample manpower, time, and manufacturing capability,
and not
then
having to
the game for you is to maximize your efficiency, right?
Yep.
Like, how much can you spend? Like, how much can you get done for your dollar and your manpower, right?
Well,
because at some point you just have to play the numbers game at that level.
Yeah, because you look at like aircraft manufacturing in America during World War II. They were pumping out X amount of aircraft a day out of a factory.
Yeah.
Whereas look at Germany and Japan, they'd be lucky to get maybe 5.
Although the German...
on a good day.
But see, the German economy didn't really gear up to a total war footing until about 1944.
Yeah. By then,
the war was lost.
Yeah.
And the US didn't even get into a total war gearing because they had such a large manufacturing base that they could just,
Yeah, but they did take certain measures. Like, manufacturing of cars was outlawed during the period of the war, right?
I don't think it was outlawed so much
Not
as...
outlawed,
it
but,
was,
it was...
It was
no one was
scaled back.
They were not
Scaled back.
allowed to, yeah.
Well, the same happened here.
Yeah.
General Motors. So when they had the old General Motors plant here in Dandenong.
Yeah.
During the war, they were making trucks or something there.
Yeah.
And then after the war, we're back into making cars again.
The important thing to take note of is that, people back then were not stupid. They did the best with what they had.
Yeah.
And there's a reason behind every decision.
And so we're circling back to the Sherman, how the Sherman, in my view, is highly underrated in the eyes of, let me call it the German Armour fanboy club.
Well, I mean, like, you have to also take, like, if you're talking about this, there's the history aspect of it, but then separate from that is the modelling aspect. What makes an interesting model, right?
German Armour.
German Armour has had
had
its fan base because there's a lot of different camouflage schemes,
Yep.
a lot of different variants. Now those so many different variants probably worked against them, and it dropped their manufacturing efficiencies down quite a bit. But they did it for reasons, and it makes for very interesting looking models. Whereas every Sherman is olive drab.
And to follow and pick up on your thread, I mean, look at the explosion of paper panzers we've been seeing in the last 5 years now, coming out from companies such as Mung, for example.
Yeah, but not just
an amusing
paper
hobby.
panzers.
Amusing hobby, yeah.
There's also you've got Meng making the tortoise, and Dragon making the was it the T-28, which was an experimental tank that they only
is that
made,
the one
like,
with the outer track sections
Yeah.
could unbolt?
Yeah, it was an entire tank bigger than anything they'd made before. I think they made like 4 of them or something, and it was designed to bust through some. Was it the Siegfried line or something like that? And
wasn't needed.
and by the time they even got it, mostly through testing, it's like they'd already passed that point.
Yeah. No point having it.
Talk about redundant.
And then there's that American tank which was designed to withstand a nuclear blast. It had that very funny...
the Object 275
No, that's
or whatever.
Russian.
Was that Russian?
Yeah,
Was
I've
it?
got a kit of that.
Oh, was it Russian? I'm
Yeah,
sure the Americans
Russian
designed one.
Object 275, I think it's called,
It has a hull that looks like a flying
A
saucer.
UFO, yes.
and it's got 2 sets of tracks
Yeah.
on each side.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's got like 4 tracks.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think mine's not Mung.
Takum.
Takum, yeah. Because it comes with a little Soviet guy from the 60s in the full radiation gear with his Kalashnikov. Which looks a really cool figure.
Oh, dear. So, is this one you'll be buying, Julian?
I wouldn't mind. I don't know if I'd buy it just yet, but I'll. It's there. It's a kind of kit that'll always be in production, I think.
Interestingly, they've also announced in 1/35th scale, in limited edition, is a model that's called the Kiss of Victory, which is a European styled female.
I'd say going off the hat, she's French.
Leaning forward to kiss an American tanker.
Is this the cover? Yeah, it's the cover of like a limited edition version of one of their Sherman kits.
Yeah.
So it comes with the kit and it comes with 2 figures.
Yeah, it's very much a sort of what would you call it? Like 1950s
even
romance novel or something, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, they got it as a figure too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It comes as a figure. Yeah, it's a special
figures
limited
with it.
edition.
They've really gone to quite a bit of effort for
They
that,
have
haven't
it.
they?
Yeah, and nice two nice photo etched frets.
Well, that's actually a detailed upgrade set, which I believe is purchased separately yet again.
Yes.
So, Look, all in all, it looks like a great-looking cracker of a kit, I've got to say, if you love your Shermans. And, of course, the interesting thing about this particular Sherman, the jumbo one, was the different shaped turret as well. It's completely new style turret, and I'm not sure why, because I'm not a fanatic on Shermans.
I imagine they changed the gun or something like that, and they had to change the ergonomics.
Course, yes, because it's got the different gun on it. Yeah,
maybe something like that. I'm not certain. I'm not the official on Meng, not Meng on the Shermans.
Yep.
Yeah, that cover for the box art is really cool. It's like really like classic paint, 1950s painting type thing. You could almost frame that.
You probably find it's a good chance it might even come with a poster.
Does it say who painted it?
No, it doesn't. A quick look. It does down there, but I can't read that scribble.
Maybe scroll up a little bit. It might be in the text.
No.
No.
Oh
Oh.
well.
Carbaga?
Don't know. Can't read the artist's name.
That's a signature. You're not supposed to be able to read signatures.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Rifle models.
Rifle models. So we're having a look now at their British main battle tank, the Challenger 2 from Rifle Models
TES
in
version.
1/35th scale. This is one that I currently do not have in my stash, which I'm quite keen to get actually, because I love my modern tanks. So, and the Challenger was,
it's a fantastic vehicle.
It was brilliant piece of kit.
Well, is.
Well,
and the boxing of this has Megatron written down the side of it.
Does it really?
Yeah, it does. It's on the front quarter there.
Oh, that's the name of the tank.
Yeah.
Megatron.
I know, it's cool, isn't it? So this boxing has like all the bits and like extra sort of modernized sort of armor and sensors and things like that all over it. So I think probably with this kit you could probably build most of any kind of variant of the Challenger 2.
You got to hand it to the British Army, because they certainly learnt their lessons from early in World War II, and you saw that
at the end of World War II they finally learnt their lessons.
Oh no, they took home the lessons that they learnt in the early part of the war, and you can see that carry through with the homegrown developments of the Centurion, which was too late for the battlefield. I mean, look how well that served Allied nations and Commonwealth countries way into the 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
Well, even the Israeli army as well was using it well into the 80s, I believe, with their different up-armouring. After the Centurion, you had the Chieftain, which was another great tank that came along.
Yep.
Although it wasn't in service as long as I sort of would have expected it. But then the Challenger came along after that. And, by all accounts, I mean, it served very well in the Desert War. First Gulf War, I should say. And the second Gulf War, I think it was used also. I stand to be corrected on that. And still in service today with the appropriate upgrades. And
Do they have a teapot? Because I know a lot of the British tanks had teapots.
I can
guarantee boil their own tea.
I can guarantee.
They're very proud of that.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you'll probably have a plug somewhere where you can plug in a kettle so you can brew up.
Probably got one built in. Because I know some of the British tanks actually had them built in.
So they're called the boiling vessel?
Yep.
That's the official name for it.
So basically, it'd just be a copper line that would just run around the engine and just heat up. So you got hot water.
I think it's almost like a rice cooker or something like that.
Oh, I see. Yep.
Yeah. I believe it's called like the Mark 39 boiling vessel or something along those lines.
How cool is that?
So looking at some CAD drawings from the Challenger 2 and from Rifle models, I should say, and it's looking like it'll build a beautiful kit. There's some pictures there of the test shots on the sprues. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main sprues, individual individual link and length, I should say, or individual links. Individual links.
Individual tracks.
Individual tracks, sorry. Which I love. I reckon it's the only way to really get a good track.
And no one's made a kit of this for some time. There's like an old trumpeter kit, like an early trumpeter kit. And it's a bit sort of meh.
Iffy.
Yeah.
Well, this one's slated for release in January 2020, so keep your eyes out on your local hobby store from Rifle Models.
Definitely. One of these vehicles took like 70 RPG hits.
What?
70?
70?
70.
Wow.
And they just, I believe they sent in Apaches or something like that to clear out the area, and then they just towed it back and put it back into service.
Wow.
Says a lot.
Italeri, their announcements for this year. Let's see what... well, it's actually for December 1919 is what they're talking about. But first of all, they've got in 1/72 scale Mercedes-Benz...
No, one's 24th, mate.
Beg your pardon. 1/24 scale, thank you, is a Mercedes-Benz MP4 Big Space, which is a prime mover at €66. For the truck builders amongst you, you will really enjoy it.
Complete engine and everything, yep.
Yeah, so it's nice and cool. The wheels are rubber.
Vinyl, yep.
Vinyl,
which
rubber.
is normal for cars
and trucks, yeah. In 1/72 scale is an F86 F Sabre. Now, I have a sneaking suspicion that this is not a new mould, but I'll quite happily stand and be corrected.
Because it's Italieri?
Yeah, well, Italeri's got a habit of either Hasegawa, Tamiya, Heller.
Yes. Nasty.
Or just reboxing their own kits.
Yes. The decals that they're supplying for this comes in 3 different decals, all for the US Air Force. They always did, the US Air Force did the Sabre in really nice, bright sort of colours against the bare metal foil.
Yeah, especially in Korea when they got the big yellow bands.
Oh, looks excellent. Looks really good. Lastly, from Italeri in 1/72 scale is an SDKFZ 25/18 ambulance.
251.
251-8.
There you are. Yes, you're right.
That is the only 251 I still haven't got in my 251 collection is an ambulance version.
It's actually got fairly interesting camouflage on it.
What scale are yours in, though, Ian?
35th.
Well, okay.
We're about 13 of them.
Well, this one won't be any good to you then.
No, it's a 72.
Yeah. Yeah, it
looks good.
It does look good. And basically with the open top, what they've done is they've chucked a...
tarp.
Over the top, almost like if you think of the old Wild West wagons type thing, it's got a tarp cover on top of it to turn it into a ambulance. I can't imagine it being a very good ride for the wounded, but then again, any ride's better than none.
Exactly.
Better than stuck in the back of a horse and cart and sent back to the aid station, I guess.
Yes.
And that's it from Italeri. So that's all I have for what's new in the modelling world. You gents got anything?
So there's a bit of chatter on Facebook about a new SU-33 kit in 48 scale.
All right.
And it's been linked, and there's like sprue shots and things, and there hasn't been released who the manufacturer is. It's kind of like an as yet unannounced brand.
Oh, a new brand.
Yeah, and it's got really, really interesting engineering. So, for example, it's actually got like the structural sort of holes and stuff on the side of the flaps.
Yep.
It's got slide molded for the to get the underside right on the weapon pylons.
Wow.
It's got slide molded missiles so that they're all one piece. You just clip them off and clean them up.
I like that.
That sounds very much. What's that brand they bought out? The Beagle in 48 scale. Anagram? No,
AMK models?
AMK models.
Avant-garde? Or something like that? Yeah,
it sounds very avant-garde to me from what you're describing.
Yeah, but apparently the source is someone from Taiwan, so it might be from that neck of the woods, and people are saying, oh, maybe it's kinetic, maybe it's... Well, no one knows. Well, I guess we're just going to have to wait.
Yeah, just have to wait and see.
Yeah, very lovely looking molds. Really nice rivet detail. It's looking to be a very nice kit.
Yeah, sounds very nice.
If you like your, sort of that kind of Russian jet era,
Yep.
Cool. Definitely.
All right.
Yeah, well, I got nothing new. If it's new, I'll buy it and tell you about it.
Well, let's have a chat about 2020, what we're sort of expecting to do, what we're hoping to see come out.
Hoping to see, and I'll say it again, I'll say it every year, 148 scale DAP Beaufort.
Oh, there you go. That's quick off the mark, Ian.
If anyone makes one, I'll buy 5. I don't care.
You don't need 5.
I want a DAP Beaufort.
Yep.
I want an Australian-built Beaufort. They did very well for themselves during the war.
Was there much difference from the design of the British built?
Yeah, the whole front's different.
Oh, is it really?
The whole front's totally different. They're made in Fisherman's Bend, just the other side of Melbourne.
Yep.
And you can't get a normal Beaufort. If you probably could, but you'd be spending probably a year scratch building.
Wow.
Is it because of those very glassy nose?
Yeah, and the different curves and shape of the fuselage and all the added antennas on the sides, because they had those bar antennas along the side of the fuselage. And so that's what I want to see come out.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. No one will do it. No one will do it.
What about you, Julian? What are you hoping for in 2020 in regards to new kits?
New kits? Oh, geez. Well, I mean, I've got like an Azure kit of a Potez. I want to say, I think it's 611 or something like that. It's a French twin-engine fighter type thing, fighter bomber thing.
Oh yeah, another one you're talking about.
Yeah, I really wish there'd be a nice kit of it rather than some short run kind of thing like I've got. Because it's a rough edge kit, I'm sure like it'll build up nice if you've got some skills to sort of fill this in, thin this out, all that sort of all of that game. But it's sitting there and it's a beautiful looking plane, as those sort of 1930s era planes can be.
Yep.
I just and also like one of the schemes for it is like almost all bare aluminium.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I have one French aircraft in my collection.
I don't have any.
Really?
No. Oh, no, I tell a lie. I've got a Mirage 3.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
How's that? One. Not even the Tamiya, was it D110 or whatever?
I had one, but I gave it away.
Does that count?
Chris Dowsett built it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think he bought it off me $20 or I gave it to him or something. But it was like, I was never going to build it. You have it. That's just not what interests me.
Fair enough. I quite like that sort of. I'm getting quite into like the Italian aircraft and the French aircraft,
both of which have some of the most difficult camouflage patterns to try and paint.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah.
So you're really challenging yourself there.
Actually, I'm also quite fond of like the Hungarian markings because they come in some beautiful colours.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
Yeah, was it green, yellow, and black or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got like a sort of like a star that's like 8-pointed or whatever, and it's like I think it's 8-pointed if I'm recalling from memory correctly.
And it's yellow. Yes.
Yeah, and they've got some beautiful sort of camouflage colours that are very reminiscent of like autumn.
You got to get yourself an IAR80.
Yeah, but the problem is there's no like decent kits. I believe.
There's some nice. There's a nice 32 scale one.
Oh yeah.
32. Spend the money.
32 scale. Yeah,
it is. I think it was made by Vector. Was it Vector?
No. I believe it's who is it? It might be Special Hobby.
Actually, it's interesting because you're talking about Hungarian. I mean, there's another sort of underrepresented or talked about sort of nationality with very sort of strong links militarily all the way back. I mean, you go back to the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. Yep. World War One's quite a few ships, battleships fighting around, Hungarian battleships, and militarily they, apart from the side they were on, they did quite well. I mean, God, look at the uprising in Hungary against the Soviets. How brave was that back then?
Oh yeah.
And
man. A few years at Expo, I remember seeing this phenomenal model, and I believe it was like a full resin kit of, I think, a 35th scale Austro-Hungarian torpedo boat.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
I remember seeing that. Yes. Beautiful.
That thing was a masterpiece.
Yes. That was pre-World War One.
Yeah, actually, the correct title was Torpedo Destroyer Boat.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they were long, thin, and because of that mathematics that's involved when you do a hull design, the longer the ship is, the faster it goes.
Yep.
And so they crammed in this stonking great big, triple expansion steam engine, and it would go like a cut cat across the water. It could do 30, 40 knots.
Right.
This is all the torpedo destroyer boats as they are then known. And that's where the genesis of the destroyer came from.
Mm-hmm.
because the great fear was that you'd have a ship that came in with torpedoes, and so you had to counter that, and you had these very fast, not too agile, but certainly fast ships that could sort of duck in and duck out. Didn't have a huge range, but they weren't sort of designed as a sort of fleet boat to keep up with your main fleet. They're
more coastal.
Yeah,
around the coastal
and then
areas.
they sort of came out, and that's where the destroyers came from. That's why they kept the term destroyers, because it was designed to destroy the enemy's torpedo boats, and I don't know where I was going with that. It was just a little interesting factoid that was floating around in my mind that I had to pluck out.
We were on like Hungarian stuff, and then I mentioned this torpedo boat. It was really, really cool because it had like all this crew standing on deck, and there was a dog, and there was it's really sort of, it's got character, that thing, because it looks very steampunk, very what's it, Captain Nemo almost, the Nautilus.
And what I like about the Hungarian ships is they don't do the traditional sort of red hull, anti-foul red. It's generally an anti-foul green. So it just gives a bit of pop and something different to look at.
Like the French used green too, didn't they?
No, the Italians.
Yes. And the Russians.
Yes, Ian, you're right. Yeah, they did too.
Because I did that Russian submarine that's got the bright green under the anti-fouling.
Prior to World War II and part of World War II, they did the anti-foul green. So I think it's just the green paint was just a mixture of the chemicals or the metals, the copper, the metals that they had in there. Yeah,
I read something. I read or watched on YouTube. They were talking about the reason and the types of paints they used, and it was basically just there to just
flake off,
and basically barnacles and that grew.
Yeah,
you just pop them off.
Yeah,
rather than have to chisel the buggers off.
Yep.
Because all those things create drag.
Yep.
And the more drag on the bottom of your ship, the slower you go.
There you go.
Well, I mean, like, it was interesting what you said just now with the chemicals involved in these sort of paints and things. Like if you've I've got a photo that I always keep saved, and it's of a bombed out German tank factory, right? You know how like it's very popular these days to do your German tanks with all the red primer and stuff. But if you look at the tanks in this factory that haven't been painted yet, there's not much of them that's red. They use a lot of zinc-based primers.
Yep.
Yeah, which is, it's not red at all. It's I don't know. It's hard to look, hard to see. It's kind of almost a grey
yellow. We'd have it, if being zinc, it would probably have a slight yellowy
tinge.
No,
I don't believe so. It was almost like a grey, bluey grey kind of ish colour. Is that
the one where it's
not necessarily only green?
It looks like it's outdoors, but it's actually inside the factory. But the whole roof's been taken. I think I've seen that photo.
Yeah, all the roof's gone and everything. And they take note of like a lot of the upper hull and stuff. It's not primer red, but it's it just good. I always find it interesting because like we have colour photos, and yet people still paint them all red.
Yeah, but I'm always a bit suspicious of the colour photos from the 1940s because I don't think the colour saturation is necessarily...
Yes, there is that, but red... Like you can see the red portions, and you can see the portions that are not red.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
So it gives you sort of...
So there's obviously something going on there,
and
modelers sort of conveniently overlook that because it's not the cool... Ferrari red that they want to paint their tank.
Ferrari red.
Speaking of red, that's the colour that the customer has asked me to paint the base for this Godzilla.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the wooden base has to be cherry red.
Why?
I don't know. But that's what he wants. That's what he
gets. Customer gets what he wants.
Yep.
Is it worth me saying what model I want to see in 2020, or do you already know?
I already know. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
Geez, you turn over a rock and talk to an ant and you'll go, yeah, I know, Dave wants the Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carrier.
All right. So, in that case then, shall we move on to what we hope to achieve in 2020?
Build more than 3 kits.
Yeah, but we know you only built 3, but the Chicago was a huge one that you built.
It was, yes.
So it took you a long time.
And that's the last time we mention it.
All right, then. This is Shikaku free zone from on in.
That's it. Different projects.
What are you hoping to achieve this year, Ian?
Finish Godzilla, finish me Buffalo, and then figure out what kit I'm going to start next.
Or
maybe hook into one of me 2 or 3 shelf coins. I've got a Japanese destroyer which I started, and I've got the Israeli Super Sherman which I started years and years and years ago. So maybe get them knocked over.
Yeah, or maybe knock over something else. Because doing a Japanese boat is not a really good way to get over doing another Japanese boat.
No, that's right. Well, if I can get all the detail sets quick enough, well, maybe I might even have a crack at the Spitfire, the big new Spitty I bought.
Oh yeah, you'll have a lot of fun with that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's definitely a carefree build.
Yeah.
Have you had a look at what Will has posted on his YouTube channel about building a Spitfire?
Will?
So Will Pattinson, the guy we had on for...
Yeah.
3D
He's done a review on it.
On that Spitfire?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
He bought it and built it.
I'll have to check it out.
So have a look at that, I reckon.
I think he's done a few, actually.
Yeah. Julian, what are you planning to do in 2020?
Oh, well... I'm still going to keep chugging away on all this Vietnam subject type stuff.
Yep.
And then I'd actually really like to hook into this M270 rocket launcher vehicle down here.
That looks like a lot of fun to build, actually.
Yeah, I know, it does.
Yeah. Nice and boxy.
Yeah. It's got some like interesting things that I wouldn't have tried before. So it's got on top of the actual rocket launcher portion, which is basically a big box. There's some non-slip areas up there. Right.
Yep.
If you actually, if you actually find photos of the real thing, and you can see up there, because when they actually move the missile launcher into firing position, it'll angle up, right, and you can see right onto the top deck of it. There's all this non-slip coating on there so that someone doesn't, fall to their death.
Yeah.
And I would like to sort of have a go at attempting that, because it's not over the entire top of it. It's only over certain portions of it.
I know there's a few things on YouTube on how to do that. And I'm pretty sure some of the modelling, I think it might even be MiG actually brings out the anti-slip.
Yeah. I've actually seen someone use that stuff, and it was okay. I would consider using it if I couldn't find a better method. I would almost probably attempt just a Mr. Surfacer and stipple it kind of a thing. Go for a bit like a rougher sort of sandpaper texture sort of thing.
Yes. Well, the other thing I'll probably hook into this year would be probably one of my muscle cars, because I've noticed SMS have got all new paint colours out, and a lot of them look like the 60s and 70s American muscle car colours.
Oh yeah.
So you got your oranges and purples and lemon yellows and stuff like that. I'm thinking, oh, great! Finally,
well, you might also see MRP bring out some because they've got a car line of colours as well now.
Yep. Because most other car paint manufacturers for car kits, they're all modern stuff and European. There's hardly anything out there for the good old American muscle cars.
Yeah. But I think it's...
Besides buying a can of spray paint, which I hate doing, I'd rather just... Because you're going to decant it and then spray it on and...
It's not modelling.
No.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean by when I say that. I mean, it's kind of like you have to step outside of modelling to dirty your hands with other stuff,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, too true. So what about you, Dave? What are you going to plan to build?
Well, I'm not going to make any rash statements like I did last year about not purchasing any models, so I'm going to leave that one go. So
learnt your lesson, didn't you?
Look, I've got a couple to finish off. I've got a 1/144th scale Canberra I've got to build. I'm building the Thud at the moment, as I said, and I've still got the Centurion to finish. I'm waiting on decals for my NASA M113. I've got the picture of the decals that I need, but I'm just trying to find somebody who can actually print them off as decals now,
right?
In locally, and
so you got the actual artwork?
Yeah, I got the artwork from the US, which is great, and but I'm trying to find somebody local who can actually print the decals off, and I'm not.
And usually decals, isn't it? Usually, the more you get printed, the cheaper it gets.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't really care. I don't really care about the cost. I was in touch with some chap, and unfortunately, the emails sort of dried up. So I don't know what sort of happened to him. So I might have to look for somebody else, either locally or even overseas, if somebody can knows out there who does decals.
Is it too small to actually have a word with our mate Troy and get him to use a stencil cutter?
You know, I've got it's too small for the stencil cutter. Yeah. Because there's some very sort of specific sort of NASA mission badges that I've got.
Yep, I see.
That.
Yep.
I've got a couple of shelf queens that I really want to get back into and get them polished off. They're not too far off being finished.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I'm really keen to get back in and build another ship again this year.
Me too.
I'm missing that.
So kits that I want to hook into, that are currently in my stash. I want to hook in. I just said the wrong thing. A kit I want to buy and then hook into is that Japanese old-fashioned ship that I mentioned in a previous podcast episode. It's got like 2 turrets on it, one on either end kind of thing.
Oh, the Mikasa.
This is the Mikasa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to do it.
Wasn't it Battle of the Yellow Sea or something?
No,
That was the one where they fought the Russians and they beat the Russian Navy, wasn't it?
Yeah. It wasn't the Battle of the Yellow Sea. It was the Battle of Tisoma Strait or something. Something Straits.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to do that with the full torpedo nets out.
There's a good job.
Does that mean you're going to do it in a waterline version, or are you still going to do it full hull?
Full hull.
Okay, that'll look awesome.
What's the photo etch?
It'll be delicate as hell, and it'll need a really wide base, but I reckon it'll look cool.
Yeah, photo etch anti-torpedo nets. It'll look really.
Well,
really
I'll tell you what. If you do that, as soon as you start that, I'll start the Savage.
Okay.
Because those two fought against each other.
I'd also like to hook into one of my cars as well. I'd like to do the my Audi rally car, the yellow and white one.
Yep.
Because that's been sitting there for a little while now, and I'm keen to.
You're going to take a dump in the driver's seat?
What?
Only turds drive Audis.
Oh, whatever. Five cylinders. 5 cylinders, man. That's the way to go.
Mate, the amount of problems I have with Audi drivers on the road these days.
No, that's different, right?
It used to be Volvo drivers. Now Volvo drivers are just the norm. Now you got these Audi drivers, and
see. I don't get the 5-cylinder. I don't see how you can get the motor to balance properly. I mean, obviously they do.
It'd have to be straight. It's the only way to do it.
Yeah, of course you can do it in a V, but you know, a V6 or a V8, you just to the non-mechanical mind
sometimes
seems a lot more balanced.
About driving one of those rally cars on the street, right? But you can never do it because it would sound like like people opening fire on civilians. Because they just backfire all the time. You know.
Yeah. Geez, you'd be pulled over by the cops every 2 minutes.
It'd be ridiculous. But they've got a very distinct. That engine has a very distinctive sound because it doesn't sound as sort of gutless as a 4-cylinder, but it doesn't sound quite as smooth and perfect as a straight 6. Right?
You want to hear weird? This is going back about 3 years ago.
Okay.
I was driving home from work and a guy went past me because I was stuck in traffic in a DAF car.
Okay.
Now, the old DAF cars, back in the early 60s, a lot of them were 2-stroke.
Oh, yeah.
And you could hear this thing coming down the road and you could smell it when it went past. And it stunk. 2-stroke. It's like this giant freaking chainsaw on wheels. That was the weirdest thing. The 2-stroke engine is like, wow, in a car.
Yeah, I've seen some race cars doing that, and you could hear them like the video is like 5 minutes long, and you can hear it the entire time, but you only see it in the last minute.
Yeah, for a few seconds as it goes
it's so loud.
Yeah. I've got to say, though, that reflecting back on 2019, and I want to carry it through to 2020, my modelling build rate I've been quite happy with it. So I've got quite a few out, and I was really pleased about that, and I want to maintain that sort of momentum, although work's killing me at the moment. So
plus, don't forget, this year we've got another challenge.
What's that?
We'll probably got another Moosery challenge.
We'll have probably another Moosery challenge come up, which reminds me, I've got to get that one off you and get it packed to ship.
So you've still got another recording before then, haven't we?
Yeah.
We could take mercy on our Canadian friends and just do one amongst us.
No.
Okay. It's an idea.
Do we know whether or not he's finished that?
Anthony.
Anthony's finished the Mustang yet?
He was working on finishing it before I get there.
Cool.
So, as we record, this is the 1st of January. I'm flying out on the 24th, and I'll probably be there in about the 28th, in the Canada 28th, because I'm going via France. So, he's got a month to do it.
Yeah.
And it's, it's cold over there. What else is he going to do with the night time?
Yeah. Well, unless his paint freezes, then he'll be in all sorts of bother. If it gets that cold, his paint freezes.
Yeah, that's very true. So yeah, I'm not going to I'm not making any rash sort of.
I was thinking if we're going to have like Julian, I like the idea. We'll still do the moosery, but if we also do a in between the three of us challenge,
yeah,
are we going to choose it between ourselves, or are we going to let the listeners make our choice for us?
Oh, that could be
maybe.
dangerous.
That could be dangerous, right?
It could be dangerous, but it could be good because when you step into danger, you always come out better.
Well, do you want to do that, or do you want to do a?
I reckon let the listeners
or an on the bench challenge where everybody has to.
Well, we could give them a short list, like three options to choose from, maybe from each of us.
Oh, actually, better still, just take a photo of your stash, put that up there. There you go, guys. Pick the kit. That means me emptying out 4 cupboards.
Yeah,
and making a massive pile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you could go about it. We could all do the same model. We could all do different models. We could do things that we're not comfortable with doing.
Mm.
Oh, there's a lot of.
Well, I think I've pretty much covered everything now in modelling.
Yeah, there's nothing. I'm not comfortable with building.
Really?
Yeah.
What about some sexy girls in?
Yeah. What about a figure?
94 minutes.
No, I'm quite comfortable building a figure.
Are you? Because
painting's another matter.
I'm pretty sure we kicked off this episode with you saying that you don't like the idea of painting a pilot.
No.
Because I still got some really nice, slightly risque. Actually, some of them aren't slightly, some are quite risque. White metal figures, which I've had for moons upon moons. And I remember one figure's absolutely gorgeously sculpted, and I took it to the club meeting, and one of the members, I won't mention who because he's known as Butterfingers, but he actually held it and he dropped it, and she landed breast first on the wooden floor, and she's now got no nibbles.
Oh, geez.
So you're going to scratch build a pair.
Scratch build them. And it's like, of all the bits to land on.
That's going to make for a great start to a future podcast. Yeah. What have you been doing, Ian? Well,
I've been sculpting nipples.
But no, I reckon, that's what I reckon. Let the listeners decide.
All right, so we'll put it out there.
We've got some time.
No, we'll put it out there.
It's only the start of the year. We've got some time.
I reckon we think about it, whether or not we're going to do a couple of kits or whether or not the whole stash and let them choose. Oh, but then if we do the whole stash, that means, probably, as Julie said, probably get 3 kits.
Give them a little bit of choice.
So what do? We take 3 kits out of our stash, photograph them, and then the listeners...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
Maybe no ships because they're very involved builds.
So,
I mean that'd be like throwing in.
I reckon. No, actually, Julie, I reckon a ship kit, aircraft kit, and either an armor or a car kit. So they're the 3 choices.
Yeah, but the internet could be, as they often are, made up of. People who want to see us squirm, and they'll just pick nothing but ship kits for all of us, and then we'll have a really hard time kind of finishing it all off.
No, that's fine. That's fine with me. Challenge is a challenge.
True.
Never step back from a challenge.
But we have to have some sort of elastic band on this. So whatever listener we accept the challenge from, it goes back on that individual to also have to build something as well.
Right.
Of our choosing. Yeah. So say...
I think we need to think about this a little bit more.
It's getting too complicated, isn't it, man?
The listeners, they just got to make the choice for us.
So,
we'll
and they can vote.
They
can vote on it too.
All right.
Yeah, we'll make it interactive.
Will we? Do we have to?
Yeah.
Well, now you're against it. You were all for it before. Jeez. You've just realised like the denizens of the internet like to torture, people.
Dave's just realised this year he's building a Russian aircraft carrier.
Yeah, I know exactly. Because that's what I'm going to pull out. But it's not that. This is my little mind clicking over. So I'm thinking, not only will I have to build the Russian or Chinese aircraft carrier, but I'm going to have to spend the bloody $500 to buy the cabinet to fit it in.
Yeah. So we're going to have to put some sort of restrictions to sort of
I'll put
focus it. To focus
one
it a bit.
restriction with ships: no carriers.
No, I like my carriers. I want to build a carrier.
No,
but they're not going to pick something that you want to build. They're going to pick something
I don't want to build a carrier. I don't want to build a carrier.
I don't want to build a carrier. He says no. But that's something for us to think about anyway.
All right, okay. All right, I think we'll think about wrapping that up there, gents. What do you reckon?
Sounds like a plan.
We'll be back in a fortnight,
That we will.
and before we head off, we'll say this year's looking exciting for some guests that we're hoping to get on.
Oh,
Airfix are still ducking and weaving, but I'll pin them down shortly. I am.
You reckon?
Yeah, I will. Don't you worry. I'll get them on the show.
They
can duck and weave as much as they want.
I remain a skeptical person.
No, you'll see. Do you want to put a bet on it?
ooh,
No.
a wager.
there
No,
you
I
go.
don't.
Yeah.
So who else, Dave?
We're looking at getting a historian on. I'm not going to name names or say who, but pretty excited about that happening. It's just trying to tee up the dates. There's a well-known chap,
Historian on what?
World War II.
Oh, just on World War II altogether.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And it'll be a very interesting sort of
Stephen
episode, I
Ambrose.
think.
Well,
I'm not saying names.
it'll be good if we can get someone like that on, because I mean, as much as of an interest we have in history, we're all we don't spend as much time focused in it because we're also building things.
Well, you know what? I come from the point of view, every modeller is a amateur historian.
Oh yeah,
Even
we
if
all
only
are.
for the 10 minutes on the particular subject matter you're building, you're a historian for that particular kit.
Yep.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I've got a guest from Poland teed up for this year.
Oh, very good.
So he owns a hobby shop in Poland, and he's
Excellent.
right up with the Eastern European modelling scene.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
So
yeah. Oh, very
He's
good.
keen to do the show, so just teed up with him one night, and we'll have a chat with him.
Brilliant. It's just the time schedules between Europe and Australia that's a killer.
It is, yes. I warned him. You're either going to get out, either you're going to be up really late, you're going to get out of bed really early. But he was keen on it, so yeah.
All right, well, I think we might wrap that up there, gents. What do you say?
Adios.
All right, so this is our 4th season, Julian.
I forgot what I said last time. I thought it was a really cool thing to say.
It was quite pithy.
What was it? I can't even remember.
I don't know.
Oh, it couldn't have been that good then.
I'll just stick with my tried and true photo, which is your friend, guys.
All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next episode. I'll see you then.
Bye bye.
See ya.
Adios.